felt before, and I got very sad and very down about sort of this particular family. And I think you start to take away bits of the job, and you take them home and you keep them in your body. I was lucky enough that I sort of identified that something was going on. I spoke to a lot of people about it, and that talking and that kind of dealing with it, knowing also that my colleagues I work with who've been in the medical profession for 30 odd years in some cases, they also were feeling from this particular job very troubled. It allowed the crew at the time to go through a bit of a debrief process, and so we regularly used to talk about it and try and understand it better, and I think that helped me come to terms with just the enormous sadness of what I witnessed.
Do you recognise what Prince William is saying there about working on the front line? Maybe you're a social worker, a police officer, a paramedic, a doctor, a nurse. Maybe you're married to somebody that works on the front line, or it's a member of your family, and you see what they go through and you wonder whether they've got enough support. 0345 6060 973. You can text on 84850, tweet at LBC. You don't need to give me your real name, but we would like to hear your stories. It's 6:15 and you're listening to Camilla Tomley on LBC.
This is LBC.
Family, friends, school. If your child is 16 or 17, they are now advised to have 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. It's the best way to give them maximum protection and will help make sure they don't miss out on the things that matter this winter. It's easy, but give them an extra helping hand booking their slot at nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or finding their nearest walk-in centre. Go on, don't let them miss out.
The lakes,
Or the peaks,
city,
or coast,
family adventure,
or business,
functionality of a sports activity vehicle,
with the fuel of your choice,
also including plug-in hybrid,
and all electric.
the new BMW X3 and all-electric BMW iX3.
Different hearts,
Same beat. Discover more at bmw.co.uk. Test drive subject to applicant status and availability.
It was just another day in another week for Jenny. But as she listened to the radio, she was suddenly filled with an urge to escape. So Jenny pressed the green button and flew to Ireland's wild Atlantic way. She met the friendly locals of Cork's famous English market, indulged in the delicious fresh seafood of Galway, and explored the dramatic coastlines and picturesque landscapes of Donegal. Press the green button and fly to Ireland's wild Atlantic way this winter. Just over an hour from London's Stansted Airport.
Investment. What does it mean to you? Security? Prosperity? Retirement? Yes, it could be all of this, but investment can also be that cure you help to finance, this factory you help to create, that community you help to protect, this school you help to build, that crop you help to irrigate, this air you help to make breathable. Done right, investment can be a powerful thing, and you can experience that at aberdeen.com. Aberdeen, the power of investment. Capital at risk, issued by a member of the Aberdeen Group.
Work's done, load off. And with 50 free spins when I signed up to PokerStars Casino, I found the thrill and chill. Struck gold in the moments between the moments. You see, this ain't just downtime. No, this is epic downtime.
Join PokerStars Casino today and get 50 free spins on sign-up. Are you in? New casino players subject to account verification, valid on selected slots, 7-day expiry. Terms apply. 18 plus, play responsibly. BeGambleAware.org. To begin, disconnect your charging cable. Step in and settle into the driving position. Select drive, then gently apply pressure to the pedal. Try to relax as the electrifying technology makes your pulse race. Approved use all-electric Jaguar I-Pace with extras that include a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty and a free smart home charger. Peace of mind has never been so exhilarating. Search approved use Jaguar I-Pace or contact your local retailer. Offer applicable to I-Pace approved use vehicles purchased before 31st of December. Subject to eligibility. Participating retailers only. Full terms and conditions apply.
This is LBC with Camilla Tomley. Call 0345 6060
cues, but we're also trying to discuss what it's like for people on the front line dealing with these sorts of horrific situations and whether you feel supported. A few anonymous texts coming in, and as I have said, if you want to share an experience, you do not need to give your real name, not least if you're still in service, but do give me a ring, 0345 6060973. Just had a shout out earlier for people working in social care, because I think it's important for us to understand the pressures that you're actually under if you've got dozens of children on your list, and it's probably an absolute minefield to know who to prioritise. And also, do you work on the front line, and can you perhaps give us an idea of how the pandemic has affected things? We know that in the case of social workers, that they were having to conduct conversations with schools and what have you on Zoom, which clearly didn't help. And of course, when Arthur's parents didn't return them to